Oh, okay. My friend keeps getting involved in the wrong relationships. She keeps saying that she must have done something in a previous life to attract this and is now paying for it. Can this be true? Can we carry karma from past lives? Yes, we can carry, as I said earlier, some aspects of karma from past experiences. So if you believe it to be past lives, then the soul energy, yes, of course, it carries past experiences, but it's not an excuse to continue poor patterns in relationships in terms of repeating certain cycles. Now, what I would describe those as, I'm afraid, is codependent behaviour rather than necessarily karmic patterns. But saying that, the karmic patterns can come from their own sense of family past and family relationships in terms of what has been your first experience of what a relationship is, what you've seen it as being, what are the patterns, what are the behaviours that you've seen or experienced in order to then ascertain that that must be a definition of a relationship. So, for instance, this is as an example, just as an example, quite often, and this happens to men and women, but often it is women, okay, which is that they can start a relationship, so perhaps along the lines of their father wasn't particularly present, so either wasn't literally present or wasn't emotionally present or had some other kind of distraction. So for some that could be work distraction, it could have been alcohol, it could have been other people, it could have been all kinds of things, some distraction that was prevalent. So what that person then sees is a relationship means a man who's distant. It means that sort of air of mystery. It means someone who you can't really feel an emotional connection with. It has to be someone who's quite dramatic. It has to be someone who could be that knight in shining armour that's a little bit sort of remote but comes in to rescue at the last minute. It needs to be somebody who's a kind of treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen type, because that's perhaps your view of relationships as the first dynamic. For instance, I'm just giving you this as an example. So what then happens is the karmic pattern that continues and builds through that person's life is, okay, I'm going to look for somebody that's unconscious, as an unconscious world, who's got quite strong control patterns, because I'm really nice, and but I also have this kind of thing unconsciously stamped on me, which is that I avoid emotional connection because I don't understand what it is. So anyone that's a nice guy is not going to be able to see it, or I'm not going to be able to recognise it. But someone who's deeply dark and mysterious and slightly distant, I'm going to find really attractive. So I'm forever pushing away on an unconscious level, but someone with a control pattern thinks, oh, that's nice, that's a challenge, so I'm going to come into that person's life. That is how people, especially women, create a continuous cycle of difficult relationships where that person would have been perhaps really full on at the beginning, really keen, really full on, really in it, and then suddenly disappears, pulled right out of it. That will be the reason why. Okay, so how do you solve that? Do you then start going for nice guys, because you will immediately assume that nice guys must be boring, nothing there, all that kind of stuff, can't feel a connection, can't feel a passion with them, because you're looking for that element of distance. The way to solve that is to heal your own relationship with yourself in terms of emotional distance and build an emotional intimacy with yourself, okay, which is to then imagine people coming towards you and you staying there. If you carry that pattern, if you have in your mind someone coming towards you and it's right and everything is perfect about it, you will feel deep inside an urge to run. Okay? Because it's a running away from yourself and your own connection with yourself. If you then heal that, that's the real essence of healing that part of family karma. Okay? Right.